Good afternoon. I'm Paul De Valere, the Chair of the Board of the Métis Voyageur Development Fund and a proud citizen of the Métis Nation from Penetanguishene. I'm pleased to report on the activity of the fund to the Annual General Assembly. First, I'd like to reintroduce MVDF. Now in our 11th year of operation, MVDF is a developmental lender. That means, unlike a bank, we're not trying to make a profit or a return for our shareholder, the MNO. What we're trying to do is to help Métis citizen entrepreneurs generate income and wealth. We do that in a couple of ways. First, we provide significantly more financing towards business startups, acquisition, or expansion than a bank would consider. And second, we do so at a much lower cost of borrowing than a bank could offer. We also provide ongoing support, whether that's a grant towards the cost of a business plan, or accounting, or professional services. And we can provide financing of up to $1.5 million for Métis businesses. Responding to the effects of COVID on Métis businesses dominated the prior year and continued into 2022. Businesses' revenues declined, but they still needed to pay their costs such as loan payments, rent, salaries, and wages. This put a strain on their cash flow. So our priority was to improve their position, whether by extending financing or lowering or eliminating debt payments. We provided $1.2 million in grants of up to $8,000 to 286 home-based Métis businesses. We are providing a further $200,000 to MNO's Infinity Investments to support their operations and sustain the jobs that they have created. We stopped taking payments from our clients and stopped charging interest until we had contacted each of our clients to see when they were able to start repayment. We suspended over $125,000 in interest. We're pleased to see that over 98% of the Métis businesses we supported are still operating. We were unsure of the level of demand for business financing coming out of the pandemic restrictions, but the resilience of the Métis economy was also seen in a level of interest that saw record activity at the fund. MVDF provided $9.17 million of business loans and a further $2 million in non-repayable contributions. In total, MVDF has made investments of $53.5 million in Métis businesses in Ontario in our 10 years of operation. Our loan portfolio continues to increase, standing at $24.9 million, with a further $10.9 million in signed loans in the process of being dispersed at year-end. Despite the challenges of managing rapid growth and the effects of the pandemic on performance of the fund's portfolio of loans, we remain strong with arrears well below industry averages and specific allowance for doubtful debts as well below our peers. Our rapid growth has seen MVDF become the largest Aboriginal financial institution in Ontario and the largest of the Métis capital corporations. Our total financing increased by 28.5% from $8.67 million in the prior year to $11.2 million in the fiscal year 2022. As you can see, this was a record year and continues the strong growth of the fund's financing of Métis businesses. Fiscal year 2022 financing was more than double our financing of just 5 years ago. We continue to make significant investments in Métis businesses. As you can see, we've been on a path of upward growth. Our loan portfolio continues to increase. It's now about $25 million, more than doubling since 2016-2017. Our net assets have also increased significantly to $34.89 million, an increase of $20.2 million or 153% over 5 years. We must acknowledge the approval of the $550,000 from the M&O to support Métis-owned small enterprises and a further $279,400 contributed from the M&O to assist Métis home-based businesses. We are appreciative of the M&O's contributions to invest in Métis citizens and families through MVDF. As we look ahead, the tremendous level of activity of Métis citizen entrepreneurs and the demand it generates threatens to outstrip the resources that MVDF has to support them. Approvals of $11.2 million are balanced against new capital of $2.1 million and repayments of $3.6 million. While we have sufficient capital to meet the expected demand for the fiscal year, beyond that, MVDF will require additional capitalization if it is to continue to support Métis citizen entrepreneurs. We are working closely with the Métis Nation and the Government of Canada to make the case for continued investments in Métis citizen entrepreneurs and families. In conclusion, we believe that we've made a material difference to Métis businesses during the pandemic, increasing their opportunities to survive, and coming out of the pandemic, we've seen a record year in terms of financing. On behalf of the Board of Directors of MVDF, merci for the Métis Nation's ongoing support.